Rail transport is an important mode of long-distance transportation in China. The first railways in China were built during the Qing dynasty in the late 19th century, after extensive railway networks were already in place in Europe, North America, India and Japan. The late arrival of railways in China was due both to the lack of industrialization and skeptical attitude of the Qing government. In the 1860s, Chinese laborers were already working in United States to build the Central Pacific Railroad. In 1865, a British merchant built a 600-meter-long narrow-gauge railroad outside Beijing to demonstrate the technology to the imperial court, which was promptly dismantled on court's order. The first railroad to operate commercially in China opened in Shanghai in July 1876. The first railway to endure was the Kaiping Tramway and Imperial Railways of North China, constructed in the year 1881 by a British engineer in Tangshan province. Initially, the 10 km line from Tangshan to Zhugejuang built to transport coal. This line was extended to Tianjin in 1888 and Soizong in 1894. The railway was backed by the powerful viceroy of Jili, Li Hongzong, who overcame objections from conservative ministers. To secure the support of the Empress Dowager Cixi for railway construction, Li Hongzong imported a small train set from Germany and built a 2 km narrow-gauge railway from her residence in Zhongnanhai to her dining hall in Beihai in 1888. From 1887 to 1893, 107 kilometers of railway tracks were laid from Keelung to Taipei to Hsinchu by the governor of Taiwan Lu Mingchuan. In 1895, after Qing China's defeat in the First Sino-Japanese War greatly stimulated the railway development, as the government both recognized the importance of modernization and was compelled by foreign powers to grant concessions to build railways along with settlement and mineral rights. The imperial powers then took to building railways in their spheres of influence. By 1900, China had a total length of only 470 kilometers of railroad and another 6,400 kilometers were in the planning stage. As a shortcut for the Trans-Siberian Railway, the Russian Tsar built the China Eastern Railway between 1897 to 1901 via Southern Manchuria Railway to Port Arthur. The Germans built the Jiaoji Railway in 1904. To prevent domination by bigger powers, the Qing court gave the rights to Belgians to build the Beijing-Hankou Railway, which was completed between 1897 to 1906. But the construction of new railway lines by European imperial powers continued. The Americans built the Canton-Sam Shui Railway in Guangdong between 1902 to 1904. As the imperial powers were expanding rapidly their railroad ownership and operation in China, a strong public resentment was also arousing, which led to calls for domestic development of railways. Finally, in 1904, the Qing government permitted local provinces to organize their own railway companies. The British built the Shanghai-Nanjing Railway between 1905 to 1908, and Kowloon-Canton Railway was completed in 1911. The Beijing-Zhangjiakou Railway, built from 1905 to 1909, was the first railway to be designed and built indigenously. The chief engineer was Zhang Tianyu, who is known as the father of China's railways. The French built the Sino-Vietnamese Railway between 1904 to 1910, an 855 km meter gauge line to connect Kunming with Vietnam, then a colony of French Indochina. British and German industrialists jointly built the Tianjin-Picot Railway between 1908 to 1912. By 1911, there were around 9,000 kilometers of rails in China, and most of them were standard gauge. The imperial capital, Beijing, was designed as the center of the Chinese railway network. In 1911, when some of the provincial railway ventures fell into bankruptcy, the foreign powers pressed the Qing government to permit them to take over the ventures. This step by Qing government provoked fierce public opposition that led to the railway protection movement, which contributed to the outbreak of the Xinhai Revolution. As a result of Xinhai Revolution, the Qing dynasty was toppled. After fall of Qing rule followed by founding of the Republic of China, in 1912, Dr. Sun Yat-sen took the portfolio of rail development under the leadership of Yuan Shikai as the premier. From 1928 to 1937, the Republican government in Nanjing built 3,600 kilometers of railway inside the Great Wall. Manchuria, located beyond the wall, had 900 kilometers of railways built from 1928 until 1931. On September 18, 1931, a bomb was detonated on a Japanese-owned railway track in Manchuria, which was used as a pretext by Japanese to invade Manchuria. During the Second Sino-Japanese War of 1937 to 1945, the Republican government dismantled a number of railways to slow the Japanese advance. During the war, Japanese used forced labor to build more than 6,000 kilometers of railway. In 1945, just after the Second Sino-Japanese War, the Chinese mainland had 27,000 kilometers of rail, and it was estimated about 23,000 kilometers was usable. By 1948, the number of usable kilometers of rail was estimated at only 8,000 kilometers due to the Chinese Civil War. By 1949, the Communists had the control of China and established People's Republic of China. The end to decades of warfare in China allowed railway construction to proceed on a large scale. In the 1950s, the government initiated projects to fill in missing links in the country's rail network. From 1952, during the first five-year plan, nearly 6,100 kilometers of railroads were created, accounting for 18% of the national total. Now the passenger trains averaged 34.8 kilometers per hour and freight trains averaged 25.2 kilometers per hour. With the launch of Great Leap Forward in 1958, the newly planned railways rose to 120,000 kilometers over the next 15 years. But this had produced counterproductive results with increased rail accidents due to poorly designed locomotives. The railways did set new records, with 50% increase in passenger and freight transport between 1958 and 1960, compared to the year 1953 to 1958. The launch of the Cultural Revolution in 1966 brought political turmoil to the country and disruptions to railway operations. Railway management and operations was assigned to military in 1967, resulted in decline of quality of service and increased accident rates. This continued till 1978, when the economic reforms were launched. Now the railways were reorganized to improve safety, performance, technology and profitability. In the same year, during Deng Xiaoping's visit to Japan, he experienced the Shinkansen, the world's first high-speed rail. This sparked an interest in high-speed rail systems in mainland China. Before the 1980s, due to the low labor cost, ease of manufacturing, and cheap coal price, steam locomotives dominated the Chinese railways. During the 1980s and 90s, diesel and electric locomotives gradually replaced steam engines on the main lines. It was not until the 1990s, after more than a decade of economic growth, that the state committed the funds to renew large-scale railway reconstruction. In 1990, the Lanshin Railway was extended by the Northern Xinjiang Railway to the Kazakh border. In 1999, the Southern Xinjiang Railway brought railway service to Kashgar in the far west. By 1999, passenger trains averaged 54.5 kilometers per hour and freight trains averaged 31.8 kilometers per hour. In December 2005, the world's last regular revenue mainline steam train finished its journey on the Jitong Railway, marking the end of the steam era. Since then, every province-level entity in the People's Republic of China has a railway network. The railway to Tibet, however, was more difficult to build due to the high altitude and terrain. Rail lines were first extended to Xining in Qinghai, and by 1984 another section between Xining and Golmud was completed. It was not until 2006 that the whole of the Qingzhang Railway was finished, linking Lhasa with rest of China. As part of an infrastructure upgrade, China opened its first high-speed rail lines in 2008, utilizing trains sourced from Germany. By 2019, passenger trains averaged 160 km per hour, which is without considering the high-speed rail launched in 2008 whose speed is 350 km per hour, and the freight trains averaged 60 km per hour. As of 2021, China possesses the world's largest high-speed rail network, with a total operating length of 40,000 kilometers. As of now, Chinese government is also considering to launch high-speed freight trains. Chinese people are often recognized for their strong commitment, engineering skills, and the endeavor to pursue excellence. This can be observed in various aspects of their culture, education, and work ethic. China's rapid economic growth and technological advancements have brought about both opportunities and challenges, and the landscape continues to evolve. That's all we have for today. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Then please like this video, subscribe to this channel and follow for more updates. Thank you.